local author. Good morning to you, Eileen.
Good morning, Shane. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for taking our call this morning. And what's a nice Friday morning here in County Kildare, which is good. Nice sunshine. And we're in for a good weekend as well, hopefully. Now, we'll chat a little bit about your book in a second, because you have published your new book, Remote Control, which is your first book. First of all, I just wanted to ask you how you found the experience of actually sitting down and writing a book. It's something which I think a lot of people might think that they'd like to do, but maybe they feel they wouldn't be able to, and they'd be worried about things like writer's block and stuff like that. But what was the process like for you?
Well, it was daunting at first, I have to say. But I just took one day at a time with it, and not planning too far ahead, of course, is always a good idea, as it gives and leaves you room to change and grow as you move forward with the story. But if the subject matter of the story interests you, I think you wouldn't have much problem with writer's block or anything.
Yeah.
Or anything like that, yeah.
And did you kind of set out and say, I'm going to write like 1,000 words today, or what way did you do it?
Kind of like that, yeah. I set myself a target for the day and try and keep to that and not be distracted too much. Yeah.
And did you write it in the home?
I did indeed, yes. Well, there were times I went to Blessington Lakes and wrote a bit up there.
Did you? Yeah. Cecilia Ahern, who's obviously hugely successful, she said that she preferred to write in the middle of the night, so she would sort of sleep through most of the day and start writing at about 12 at night until the early hours of the morning. Did you find that there were distractions, maybe the phone ringing or people outside or something like that?
Yeah, you can get that. That's the thing with writing during the day. And yes, at night has its benefits, yeah. But when you've got young children like I have, I can't really sleep through the day.
Yeah, that's true as well.
So when they're at school, I'm busy writing.
Yeah, and also as well, the process of trying to secure a book deal. Did you get a book deal for this?
Yeah, that was difficult. The first step really is to get an agent, which I did, and it's the agent's job then to kind of get your manuscript out there and plug you a bit and hopefully come back with a good deal for you. So that was the route I took.
Yeah, see, it's quite a tough one. People always say that, authors particularly say, I heard a story once where this guy had sent in loads of manuscripts to publishers and he got the same reply. And once he sent in instructions for a dishwasher and got the same reply as well, which shows that they weren't being read. So
yes, this is true. There are times when they don't read them. I think a lot of publishers, you have to do your research. If you're going direct with a publisher and you're not using an agent, if you do a bit of research on the publisher you're sending your manuscript to, you see, it actually is, what you're writing is the genre that the publisher is putting out there.
Okay, great.
I mean, if they're doing crime, well, there's no point in sending them in a manuscript of fantasy or romance, because they're just not going to even look at it.
Yeah, and there's some who might do medical books, for example, so know your audience, know your publishers as well.
Yes.
Okay, well, as I said, you sat down to write this book. How long did the process take of writing it?
Almost a year.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is quite full on. The book is called Remote Control, and it's a novel, but there's quite an interesting idea to this. Now, you'll have to explain the idea of remote viewing, and that for listeners in case they aren't familiar, and where exactly you got the idea from, as simply as you can, please.
Okay, well, remote control, it's based on the psychic phenomenon remote viewing. This is an extrasensory perception using the mind. So that's the basics of it. If people are familiar with something like astral projections, well, the similarities are there.
Right, and quite a big feature of US military actions in the past.
Yes, the connections with the military are there. This is where I came across a book by an ex-military officer, and in his book he talked about his experiences as a remote viewer for the military. This intrigued me, my imagination took over, and as a result, remote control.
Okay, very good indeed. So remote viewing, just explain that again in case people aren't understanding it now. Obviously that it's used in a different sense in the military to where it would be used in normal day-to-day life, but what exactly remote viewing is?
Well, it's the ability to gather information about a distant or unseen target using paranormal means or extrasensory perception,
right.
Or sensing with just your mind. And in the military, they were given a target to look into, whether it was something in the Gulf War, what occurred, and they would just say what they'd seen or what was happening as they viewed it on a psychic level, but obviously not as psychics that are out there now, where you'd ask them, what is going to happen to me in the future?
Yeah.
And remote viewing was nothing like that. It was not about the future. It was what was actually happening currently at that present time, or that had happened in the past. Never about what could happen in the future. It was never used in that manner.
Yeah, and you've put it into sort of day-to-day life and how that could happen there in day-to-day life. So just go through some of the main characters of the book.
Well, the main character in it is basically she's been hunted by who or what, she has no idea. Her time is running out. She knows that, as others before have met an untimely end. And if she doesn't discover this pursuer, she will also meet the same end as others before her. So that's it basically.
Wow, okay, right. It's fairly full on. I certainly, we know from doing this program, and we have Una Power on every Monday, the amount of texts and phone calls that we get in. People are interested in this. They like the idea that there's something else out there. There's something else going on. Yeah,
I think the current, it's current. People like to know about the psychic world and paranormal, and we see that in a lot of sci-fi things that are out there, whether it's programs, serials that are on TV or movies.
Yeah.
We're very much interested in the possibilities.
And the alternatives out there. Are you psychic, by the way?
No, I'm not. People have made the connection there because of an uncle of mine, who Tom Higgins, who founded Irish Psychics Live.
Right.
No.
He's a relative, but you're not a psychic yourself.
No.
But I do know that apart from your uncle, your grandmother likes to explore the psychic side of life as well. Isn't that right?
This is true. Never for financial gains or anything. She did it. She enjoyed it. People knew, or believed that she had this ability to tell them their future by using tea leaves. So people, neighbours and so forth, used to drop by to my grandmother, also Eileen Higgins, for a cup of tea, and I remember sitting there as a child watching them just drink this down to the point where they were choking on it to get it drying as quick as possible.
Get the leaves
get her
settled.
to read
Yeah.
The leaves.
The leaves to be settled at the bottom.
Yeah.
No, it's a fascinating thing to do. And as I said, you're from Naas. You're born and bred in Naas. Local author there. In terms of the book, as I said, it's called Remote Control. Where is it available?
Well, at the moment you can get it direct online from my publishers, olympiapublishers.com, Waterstones, Amazon, and I have signed copies for sale also currently at Barker & Jones in Naas.
Good, Barker & Jones in Naas. Well, I have to say, well done for pulling together a book. It's something, as I was saying earlier, that a lot of people would like to do, and they might feel nervous about it, or they might feel that they wouldn't have anything to say, but as the saying goes, everyone has a book in them, and presumably you'd be hoping to write more now.
Well, at the moment, yes, I've started my next book, and that's what I'd like to add there. Remote Control, it was designed at getting people back to reading, or for those with busy lives, because it's fast-paced and it's not too long. However, though, my next book, which I'm now writing, is quite the opposite, as in it's longer, slower, and it gives the reader more time to savour the story.
Okay. Okay, very good indeed. Listen, well done on completing that, and I wish you the best of luck in the future. Thanks, Eileen. Good to talk to you.
Thank you very much for having me on.
You're welcome. That's Eileen Higgins, who's a Naas author there. New book, her first book, Remote Control, has just been published, and continued success to Eileen, and fair play for writing a book. It's something a lot of people would like to do, but they've been nervous about it, so well done indeed, and exploring the psychic side of life as well, which is very interesting. By the way, Una Power is, of course, here on